Welcome to Scott Ransopher's Poetry Podcast, where I read and discuss my poems. I'm Scott Ransopher. Today we're talking about She lifted her eyes towards heaven and smiled. Let's get started. In 2000, I wrote and typed, She lifted her eyes towards heaven and smiled. She lifted her eyes towards heaven and smiled, wearing a dingy bonnet on her head and carrying a heavy sack slung low across her back. She toiled persistently in the fields from dawn to dusk, her body numb with pain. There were often times when she felt that she could just not go on. Another day beneath that broiling southern sun. It was at those times that she could wipe the sweat from her brow at just that heavy load she had to bear. She would cry out to her love above to bestow her mercy upon her, to somehow ease the burden that was becoming more difficult with each passing day. Suddenly, a summer breeze would blow, cooling her tired, aching body, but a little while. And although she realized that she had many more rows to plow, she would pause for just a moment, lift her weary eyes towards heaven, and smile because she knew that love had heard her cries and had sent 1,000 butterflies. She lifted her eyes towards heaven and smiled. Now on Amazon Collected Poems, Volume 1, 1995 through 2001, Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. That brings us to the end of this episode. I hope She lifted her eyes towards heaven and smiled was beneficial to you. As always, thanks for listening to Scott Ransopher's Poetry Podcast.